With the first selection in the 2001 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Michael Vick, quarterback, Virginia Tech.
Being chased, coming near side, keeping the football. 40, 35, 30, 25, 15, 10. Go, Mike Vick!
What if I told you there was some pressure he just couldn't escape?
Vick, who months ago was throwing for touchdowns as the star quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons, now has thrown himself before the mercy of a federal court, admitting in court papers to dogfighting.
Beating him, shooting him, electrocuting him, drowning him. Horrific things, Michael.
ESPN's critically acclaimed 30 for 30.
I will redeem myself. wrong, man. I don't know how many times I gotta say it. I mean, it was wrong. I feel tremendous hurt behind what happened. And, I should have took the initiative to stop it all, and I didn't. And I feel so bad about that now, and I know, that I didn't step up. I wasn't the leader.
In any way, for those who may say it showed a lack of moral character because you didn't stop it, you agree or disagree?
I agree.
For 6 years, Vick ran Bad News Kennels with his childhood friends, breeding, buying, selling, and fighting pit bulls.
Was there an adrenaline rush? Was it the sense of competition? What was it that gripped you about what you were engaged in with the dog fighting?
Regardless of what it was.
Do you know
It don't
what it
even
was?
matter.
Do you know what it was?
I know why. I know why. And regardless of what it was and why I was driven, by what was going on, whether it was because of the competition or, whatever it may have been, it was wrong.
Were any of those reasons, though? The competition, the adrenaline?
Yeah.
Do you understand why people are outraged?
I understand why. And I'm gonna say it again. Sickens me to my stomach, and it was, the same feeling I'm feeling right now is what people was feeling.
And the feeling you're feeling right now is?
Disgust. Pure disgust.
When did you arrive at that feeling of disgust, Michael? When did the light go on?
When I was in prison. When I was in prison, I was disgusted, because of what I let happen to those animals. I could have put a stop to it. I could have walked away from it.
But you
I could have
didn't.
shut the whole operation down.
But you didn't.
But
and
I
why
didn't.
not? What was keeping you going?
Not being able to say or tell, certain people around me that, look, we can't do this anymore. I'm concerned about my career. I'm concerned about my family.
So for the cynics who would say, you know what, I don't know, Michael Vick might be more concerned about the fact that his career was hurt than dogs were hurt.
Football don't even matter. That's a
Losing a
sad
$135 million contract doesn't matter?
It don't matter. It don't matter.
Why
I
not?
deserve to lose that because of what I was doing.
You deserve to lose it.
Yeah, I deserve to lose it. I deserve to lose the $130 million. Why would a guy who's making $130 million and, on the flip side, killing dogs or doing the wrong things, why would he don't deserve it?
We met Michael Vick in Virginia. He wasn't allowed to cross state lines without permission from his probation officer.
I know it's a challenge.
He was accompanied by 2 men, former NFL coach Tony Dungy, who has been asked by NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell to mentor Vick, and someone you might never expect, Wayne Pacelli, president of the Humane Society of the United States.
Why would you put your reputation on the line in working with Michael Vick?
I've visited a lot of prisons. That's something that I do. And I know that there are a lot of young men, especially African-American young men, who need a chance, who made a mistake, who did something wrong, who had a problem, but are looking to bounce back. That's what I've always been concerned about, not just for Michael Vick, but for hundreds of guys that I've talked to.
Pacelli's relationship with Vick is even more unlikely. His organization provided evidence that helped put Vick in prison. While Pacelli says he remains skeptical, he nevertheless enlisted Vick as an anti-dogfighting ambassador.
If we just punish Mike indefinitely and don't pivot to this problem in the communities where kids are victimizing these dogs and then going down a dead-end street themselves because there are no heroic dog fighters, we will not be doing our job. And I felt we needed to get involved and we needed to do some creative things to reach these kids. So that's why we have our community-based programs, and I'm really hopeful that Mike sticks with this and really reaches these kids because he can turn some of them around. I really do believe that. He needs no introduction, Michael Vick.
Their first effort was in Atlanta last weekend, where Vick talked to children in neighborhoods like the one he grew up in.
I encourage you to love your animal, your animals, or whatever animal you have, whether it's a dog, a cat, it's a reptile, if it's a horse. I encourage you to love that animal dearly and with all your heart.
It's a message Vick says he never heard when he was a kid in Newport News, Virginia, where he was first exposed to dogfighting when he was 8 years old.
I was introduced very young, so I didn't think it was wrong because I seen the older guys, condoning it and, doing it.
You shared with me the story about even the police riding through the neighborhood and seeing what was happening. Explain that situation.
When they got out the car and seen that, it was two dogs fighting, they got back in the car and they left. So that right there kind of made me feel like, okay, it's not as bad as it may seem. We didn't think it was bad at the time, and that kind of put a stamp on it.
We knew it was a huge issue before Michael Vick was prosecuted, but the public didn't know. We estimate there are 40,000 professional dog fighters in the country and perhaps 100,000 street fighters. We're talking about something that's occurring in every part of the country, rural and urban, white, black, Latino. It is an industry.
What's the attraction?
People enjoy watching these animals compete and fight. They get excited by the bloodletting. They gamble on the outcomes. The fights may last 10 minutes, they may last 3 hours. Dogs die from shock, they die from blood loss. They suffer if they survive the process to maybe fight again. All for what?
When the allegations of dogfighting first arose, Vick made another monumental mistake. He lied about it to everybody. Police, his family, his coaches, and to NFL Commissioner Goodell.
I was scared. I knew my career was in jeopardy. I knew I had an endorsement with Nike, and I knew it was going to be a big letdown. I felt the guilt, and I knew I was guilty, and I knew what I had done. And not knowing at the time that, actually telling the truth may have been better than, not being honest. And it backfired on me tremendously.
This has been a difficult week in any respect.
He told us one of his biggest mistakes was lying to Atlanta Falcons owner Arthur Blank, who bet the future of the franchise on the young quarterback, awarding him the largest contract in the history of the NFL at the time, $130 million, and stood by him as the charges piled up and Vick fell from grace.
Fair to say that you broke his heart?
Definitely.
How did that make you feel, given that he was still sticking with you when everybody else turned their backs on you?
It was, I can't, describe the feeling. The hurt deep inside, hurt that I never felt before. Knowing that I disappointed him, knowing that he had given me every opportunity to come to him and reach out whenever I needed him. And he cared about me, and I took it all for granted.
He also took his own talent for granted. Known for traveling with a large entourage of friends from Virginia, going on wild spending sprees, not focusing on football.
You know what your reputation was like when you were playing?
Yeah.
What was it?
I was lazy, last guy in the building, first guy out. I know that. I hear everything that people say. And that hurt me when I heard that, but I know it was true.
It was true?
It was true.
I think everyone looked at it that way. A tremendous athlete, tremendous talent, very, very gifted guy who relies on his natural ability. He was exciting and probably didn't scratch the surface of his potential. And he and I talked about that for a long time in Leavenworth. He talked about not working out, not training, not studying, kind of taking things for granted, the gifts that the Lord had given him, just really living on that and not working at it.
Just reached the point in my career where I just totally lost touch, with my Lord and Savior. And, I thought I could do it on my own. And I couldn't, so I had to resurrect that back into my life.
Now, most people who get in trouble, all of a sudden they find God.
Yeah.
And you say?
It's the only way I made it through prison. It's the only way I can live life. It's having faith and believing in the higher power, believing in God.
Vick has also put his faith in the hands of a powerful group of attorneys, agents, and media advisors who are trying to rehabilitate his image and resuscitate his career and help him through interviews like ours.
Michael, is this you talking or the Vick team of attorneys, image shapers, and the like?
This is Mike Vick. People will see my work out there, my work in the communities, and my work with the Humane Society. and how I really do care now, how I care about animals.
And a lot of people will be watching. The NFL commissioner's decision to permanently reinstate him is pending, and the Humane Society has high expectations.
You know, Michael is somebody who needs to continue to demonstrate a commitment to this issue. I told him that we were not interested if this was going to be a flash in the pan involvement. And if Mike disappoints us, the public's going to see that. So it's not going to reflect badly on me or the Humane Society, it's going to reflect badly on him.
Will you be committed to all that you said, that folks are hearing you say today?
Still. And I'm going to let my actions continue to speak louder than my words, and I'm going to still be involved in the community because I still, regardless of football, will have a voice and can have an impact on kids because I'll be a living example of what not to do.
.com.